interesting you went to love addiction. I wasn't going there at all with this question. I was going to wanting more information of are there any other patterns of behavior that have occurred? Um, because there's truth to this could be two affairs, one a very long period of time, but two affairs and it not be addiction. So I just want to remind, like, addiction is maladaptive coping skill.
Mhm.
So the question gets curious for me of, was the person, the betrayer, using the affair, using that relationship as a coping skill? Did they feel compulsive about it? Did they think about it? Was it obsessive thinking and preoccupation about it? Um, so I want to look at that kind of pattern and use of the relationship,
Yeah.
or was something going on in the relationship that wasn't meeting one or both of their needs, and poor decisions and hurtful, painful decisions were made to go outside the marriage instead of fixing it. But I'm looking at pattern of behaviors. That's what first comes to me of the difference
Mhm.
between infidelity and addictive behavior.
Tim, what you were going to say something?
Well, I was going with the patterns of behaviors and like, so is this just somebody having an affair? And I don't mean to minimize with just, but is this somebody having an affair? Or is this an addiction? And like you were saying, Jeannie, is there obsession? Is there preoccupation? Has he tried to end the relationship and been unable to? Has he limited other activities or social engagements in his life in order to maintain the affair on the side? Has his, all those kind of things show up. But the other piece for me, Jeannie, when you were saying what are the other behaviors that comes to mind for me is that one of the things that we know is that it's very rare that we have an addict that shows up and their addiction is limited to one behavior, or at least one behavior category. Usually when there's a sex addiction going on, we're looking at like a minimum of 3 categories that are sort of showing up in their behaviors. Well, the trifecta that I refer to is porn, masturbation, and fantasy. And so he's having an affair. I would want to know how. I would be thinking, how is this classified? Is this like, paying for sex with power? Is this conquest? What is this, a relationship addiction? Is this love addiction? How did that show up? But is there boundary crossing? Is he somebody who's always telling the sexual jokes or bringing sex into inappropriate, conversations? Is this somebody who is looking at porn in a compulsive way? What are the other behaviors that are there? And if I'm not seeing the other behaviors, if all I'm seeing is this person has affairs and it doesn't appear to be a compulsive decision, it doesn't appear to be a overwhelmed with stress, and I just keep going into an escape with somebody else, then I don't hear addiction. Then I hear someone behaving badly. If I hear, the compulsive nature, if I hear the stress management nature, if I hear the escalation of other behaviors around it, then it's probably then it's worth looking into, is that this might be an addiction.